Hello guys, welcome back again to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about a very important concept in agriculture that many farmers often overlook: the agricultural value chain. This aspect of agriculture is one aspect that many farmers tend to overlook: the agricultural value chain. So we will be discussing from farm to harvest, in quotes, the agricultural value chain. Many farmers focus only on growing crops or growing livestock, but the real profit in agriculture often comes from what happens after harvest. Often comes from what happens after harvest. That is where the real profit comes from. So today we'll be discussing how farmers and agripreneurs can move from farm to market and build a profitable agricultural value chain. How farmers and agripreneur can move from farm to market and build a profitable agricultural value chain. If you are involved in farming or planning to go to start an agribusiness, this is something you need to understand. It is something you need to understand. But first of all, what is agricultural value chain? What is agricultural value chain? First, we have to understand what value chain really means. An agricultural value chain refers to all the activities involved in taking farm produce from production to the final consumer. Those activities, they are all value chains. This includes production, harvesting, processing, packaging, storage, logistics or transportation, and marketing, then finally getting to the final consumer. These are all processes in agricultural value chain. Every single step or every single stage in this chain adds value to the product, which increases the final price and profitability. So if you talk of production, there are people that focus majorly on just production, which is what I do as well. Focus majorly on production. When we produce, we sell as raw. We sell the agri produce in their raw states. While some people might want to add value to that produce. Let's take, for instance, cassava. If I plant my cassava, I may decide to just take somebody to my farm and sell the farm, not the land, quote unquote, not the land, but the farm. I decide to sell the farm. So the person that bought the farm will do the harvesting and do whatever he wants to do with what they harvested. It doesn't concern me anymore. I have done the production part of it. But I may decide to harvest the cassava by myself. And the moment I start harvesting the cassava, the price that I'm selling that cassava will no longer be the same as when I'm selling just the farm. I did not harvest it because I'm going to add the cost of harvesting. I've already added value. I've helped the buyer to harvest the cassava. I've added value to that cassava. That means I will sell at higher price. At the same time, I might decide to just to harvest my cassava and sell in a raw state. I can sell it in a raw state, or I may decide to process that same cassava into cassava flour or into gari. When I do that, I have added value to that raw cassava because it's no longer cassava, it have been processed into cassava flour. So the price will most definitely increase. If I process to gari, I've added value to it. So for every stage, I might decide to now go ahead and package it, rebrand it. I can even buy gari from a farmer that processed his own cassava, and I will do the rebranding, do the packaging, and I will sell to supermarkets. I've added value to that particular local gari that you used to know. So I may decide to go into logistics. I don't want to plant. All of us must not be planting. All of us must not be into production. I may decide to be in the transport aspect of agriculture, moving agri produce from point A to point B and making my money. I don't need to farm anything. I don't need to produce anything. What I just have to do is to provide logistics for farmers to carry their produce from their farm to the market, or from the market to the final consumer. My work is just to deliver items, logistics, and I make my money. I might decide not to even do logistics or even produce or even process, but I want to do marketing for a particular agri produce. You know, I might decide to do marketing for a particular agri produce. This is something I do quite often. When people call me, please, do you have sesame seed? Do you have tomato? Do you have pepper? Do you still have pepper? I say, no, I don't have, but I can connect you to where you can get pepper. I can just call a farmer that has pepper, buy from them, and resell to the person that needs it. It is marketing. I always post it that I have all these things, even when I know my own is not yet ready, but I know I must get from somebody to sell for anybody that needs it. That is marketing. You may decide not to sell any, not to produce, not to process, not to package, not to do logistics, but your work is just to market people's agricultural produce and you continue selling. It is another value chain in agri business. So every stage in this chain adds value to the product, which increases the price and profitability at the end of the day. So why the value chain is important? One of the biggest mistakes many farmers make is selling their produce immediately after harvesting, and they sell at a very low price. That's one of the biggest mistakes that farmers make, selling once they harvest. But I can understand in most cases it is because we have poor storage facility or poor storage system here in Nigeria, in Africa as well, where when you see farmers harvesting, instead of harvesting period of season to be a happy season, it turns out to be a panic season. Is a beginning of panic for most farmers because they don't have where to store their produce, or they tend to sell as a low price because of the fear of losing that produce. So that's one of the mistakes that farmers make, selling off immediately. I can understand. I can understand if you are producing perishable goods or perishable agri produce, like what I do. I do vegetables, fruited pumpkin, spinach, tomatoes, peppers, watermelon. Those are perishable goods, and they can't stay for long. So you must have to sell. If you don't sell, they go bad. But if you don't want to sell, for instance, for tomato, you can process to tomato paste. But it's not everybody that has the capacity to process into tomato paste. It's not everybody that have the capacity to process their pepper into powder. Are you understanding? So these are perishable goods that you have to sell. But for produce like yam, cassava that can be processed for storage, sesame, granules, beans, all those kind of produce can be stored. You understand? So it is understandable when farmers sell in a haste when they harvest, if it is perishable goods or perishable products. But when you are a farmer that produces produce or farm or crops that you can store for a while and you tend to sell immediately, it is a huge mistake that many or most farmers often make. For example, okay, I think I've given enough example. I've given enough example for what's it called? Why farmers tend to sell their produce once they harvest. So understanding value chain helps farmers to, number one, increase their income. Number two, reduce post-harvest losses. Number three, access larger markets. And last but not the least, build sustainable agri businesses. I'll take it again. Understanding value chains help farmers, number one, increase in their income. Number two, reduce post-harvest losses. Number three, access like a larger market. And number four, build sustainable agri businesses. Now, let us look at these things step by step for us to be able to understand perfectly what I'm trying to explain about agricultural value chain. Now, step one, efficient farm production. I want to break it down for us so that everybody can be able to understand. If we are discussing agricultural value chain, or if you hear agricultural value chain, you'll be able to understand what we are trying to say. Now, the first step we want to look at is efficient farm production. The first stage of the value chain is production. That is the life wire of every agricultural business, or any business at all. You can't sell what you don't produce. You can't sell what doesn't exist. There must be a production. So the first stage of the value chain is production. Now, production involves choosing a high quality seed. Now, if you're doing crops, I focus mostly on crops, and I think with time I will start infusing livestock in our discussion. But for now, we're talking about just crops. Now, production, which involves choosing high quality seeds. The moment you begin to play around with the quality of the seed you want to plant, you've started playing the losing game. You can't afford to gamble when it comes to production and the quality of your seed. You can't gamble because I've seen people buy less quality seed and spend so much money in feeding, treatment, management to make sure that those seed produce maximally what they would ordinarily produce. When you have quality seed, you will spend less to do. But because you want to play smart, you go and buy a less quality seed. At the end of the day, you end up spending so much money in plant maintenance because they cannot give you what you are looking for. So the first thing you must understand, for you to understand this value chain, production is very important. And you must understand that you will choose quality seeds, high quality seeds. That is something I don't play with. If you see my productions, I don't play with quality seeds, no matter how expensive it is. We get quality seeds. We rather don't plant than gamble with seed that we cannot trust. That is just the truth. Because you want to know where you start, when you start facing challenges, you would want to trace back to what could be the problem. So if you don't have a quality seed, you start thinking, okay, maybe it's the seed, maybe it's the soil, maybe it's my treatment, maybe it's my management. If you have a quality seed, you now start focusing on maybe it's my management practice because you are sure that the seed you use is of a very good quality. So production stage involves choosing high quality seed. Number two, proper land preparation. We take out our time. I'm basically into production. So I'm telling you what I know firsthand. We take out our time to prepare our soil. We take out our time to do what we need to do, the necessary steps. We don't rush. When it comes to land preparation for planting, we don't rush. We take like 1 month to prepare our site because it is delicate. So proper land preparation, good irrigation practices, which is something I don't joke with. Irrigation is important. Your plants need water. If you want to irrigate to give them water, if you want to do fertigation, you need irrigation. A lot of things that have to do with water. Your plants cannot survive without water. So good irrigation practices, another aspect of production. Effective pest and disease management. You must have a very good IPM, which is another part or aspect that involves in production. So efficient production ensures high yields and good quality produce, which is the foundation of a profitable value chain. The moment you begin to tamper with your production, you are already planning for failure. There is no two ways about it. It is different when you have everything right and you have little glitches that might cause damages. The damage will not be significant. But the moment you start from the beginning, getting low quality seed, you not prepare your site well, you don't have a good irrigation setup for water, you have prepared yourself for failure. So efficient production ensures high quality and high yield and good quality produce, which is the foundation of a profitable value chain. Step number two, proper harvesting and handling. Proper harvesting and handling. Many agricultural losses occur at the stage of harvesting. Many agricultural losses occur at this stage of harvesting and handling. Post-harvest techniques, poor harvest techniques, when we want to harvest our produce and we don't have what it takes or the proper management skills or what to do after harvest. And most times, I've also noticed that most times, the moment we start harvesting our produce, it marks the end of the plant cycle. Most times, I've observed it from many farms. The moment we start harvesting a particular crop marks the end of that cycle. Even for crops that are supposed to produce for one more cycle, because the handling The management when it comes to harvesting is poor. It is poor harvesting technique. It affects the plant as well. Now, lack of storage facilities is another cause of our losses when it comes to agriculture. Poor transportation system, another problem. Poor transportation system. Farmers can try to reduce these losses by number one, harvesting at the right time. First of all, harvest at the right time. Harvest well. I've noticed that like sometimes I see some of our staff when they maybe they're harvesting pepper, the way they pluck the pepper from the ripe pepper from the pepper stand. Once they pull it, the whole body of the pepper begin to shake because they pull it with force. It is your duty to now tell them you do it gently, do it this way, because the moment they are pulling it and the whole pepper is shaking, the flower, the new flower that are generating, that are coming out, will fall off, and they will not even know that the flowers are fallen off. So the moment you finish harvesting those sets, you'll be surprised that you won't see any new set of pepper again, because when they were harvesting it, they were busy pulling both the flowers off. So farmers can handle or correct these things by harvesting at the right time, harvesting well, using proper storage methods as well is one of the aspects that can help, and also handling crops carefully to avoid damage. Reducing post-harvest losses can increase profits. If you manage to reduce your post-harvest losses by at least 50%, you will see the profit margin you will make as against when you are having high losses after harvest. So if you can be able to reduce post-harvest losses, you will see that there will be increase in profits. Now, step three, we're taking it step by step. Step three, value addition and processing. We've talked about production. I mentioned the stages involved in a value chain. I now started discussing. I've done production, I've done harvesting and handling. We're now in step three, which is value addition and processing. This is where agribusiness becomes very profitable. Processing or value addition. This is where agribusiness becomes very profitable. Instead of selling raw produce, farmers or agripreneurs can process them into value added products. As I mentioned before, cassava can be processed into gari or cassava flour, tomato can be processed into tomato paste, maize can be processed into packaged corn flour. A lot of things that we can do to add value. So processing increases the shelf life and market value of agricultural products. So processing increases the shelf life and market value, because you don't expect me to sell corn flour or cassava flour the same price as raw cassava or raw maize that is not processed. I've added value, I've processed, I've packaged it, so the price will be different. So processing, and also the shelf life, because I've been able to process it, it's no longer in that raw state. I've been able to increase the shelf life of that particular agri produce, thereby helping me to have an edge over some people that sell in a raw state, because I can be able to store my processed produce for a longer time. Okay, now step 4, packaging and branding. Packaging and branding or packaging is another important part of agricultural value chain. Today's customers are attracted to products that are clean, well packaged, and properly branded. You see people looking at how this honey beans is packaged, how this beans flour is packaged. I love the packaging. People just buy because of the packaging, because of the branding. So if you want to sell, you should also learn how to brand. It's another aspect. It's another aspect of agricultural value chain, because today's customers are attracted by products that are clean, well packaged products, and proper branding. Now, good packaging protects the product, improves market appeal, allows farmers to sell to supermarkets and larger markets. You don't expect to process your gari and you carry it to supermarket like that. Where you can sell is limited. But the moment you process your gari and you brand it, you seal it and have a brand name, packaged very well, it's appealing. You can even sell to supermarket and to a larger market as well. That is what good packaging does. It protects the product, number one. It improves market appeal. It looks appealing to people for people to be able to buy. Now, it allows farmers to sell in supermarkets and large markets as well. Now, branding also helps build trust and recognition for agricultural products. Step four, I'm trying to take it fast so that we can be this video doesn't get overly long. So step five, marketing and distribution, which is the final stage. I've also explained this thing earlier before. So it's not a must that you must sell. You must produce. You can decide to also sell. But if you are a farmer, you should know how to sell. It's very important. You as a farmer should know how to sell because that is where the money is. The final stage of getting these products to the market and customers or final consumers, which is marketing. Farmers can sell through different channels because we are now in a digital economy. In as much as we farm, farming have been digitalized. You can showcase what you do. You are watching me as a farmer on YouTube because there is an opportunity for me to record what I'm doing and upload. You see my produce, you see what my practical sections, you see the farm and all we produce. Because of technology, I can be able to showcase what I produce. Likewise, I can be able to also sell through the same means. So farmers can sell their produce through different channels: local markets, supermarket, restaurants, even post it online. You can be able to sell. You can sell to food processing companies, online marketplace, a lot of places where you can sell because of the era where we find ourselves. Building strong relationship with buyers ensures consistent sale and stable income. If you are a farmer, I'm not talking about people that want to come and sell farmers produce. If you are a farmer, you must learn the skill of selling. I've seen people come to my video and they are asking, how do you sell your produce? And I begin to wonder. But I'm not surprised, or I will not also blame them. It's not everybody that know how to sell. But for you to succeed, you must sell. You must be selling something. And as a farmer, you must sell your produce. Nobody will sell it for you. Nobody will sell it for you. You must sell your produce. You must be able to understand how to sell. So before you carry that hoe and start clearing the farm and start planting, have you gone to the market? Did you understand how market works? How market works? Do you understand what your market wants? You must play around the market to know what they want. Before you start producing, you must learn how to market your produce. That is where the money is. Farmers must learn how to sell because building strong relationship with your buyers ensures that consistently you go the same market. So long as you have what to sell, you will sell. The moment you have built good relationship, you built it with your customers, you will always sell. Now, what are the opportunities for agripreneurs in all this? From farm to market, building agricultural value chain. What are the opportunities for agripreneurs? The agricultural value chain creates many opportunities beyond farming. That's the truth. Beyond farming, young entrepreneurs can build businesses in different areas, and I'll give you this area before I end this video. I think that will be the last thing I will I will talk about. So, what are the opportunities for agripreneurs? And I said agricultural value chain creates many opportunities for young entrepreneurs and agripreneurs beyond farming because young agripreneurs can build businesses in agricultural processing. It's not much that you must farm. You can be a processor. You can build a business around storage and logistics. You can build a business around packaging and branding. You can be a farm produce marketer. So you can go into farm produce marketing. Now, also agricultural supply services. You can also be selling agricultural farm inputs. They are all agricultural value chain. It is beyond just farming. So when you hear agriculture, don't think of farming alone. Don't think of production alone. There are other aspects of agriculture that you can look into. I've said processing is not farming. You can do packaging, you can do like logistics, you can do branding, you can do farm produce marketing, you can also sell farm inputs. That shows, and this shows that agricultural or agribusiness is not only about farming, it is a complete ecosystem of opportunities. So don't sleep on a gold mine. Don't sleep on a gold mine. The things that I just listed earlier signifies that agriculture or agribusiness is not only about farming, because it is a complete ecosystem of opportunities. So, guys, building a profitable agricultural business is not about planting crops. It's not just about planting crops. The real success come from understanding the entire value chain from farm to harvest. When farmers participate in more stages of the value chain, they can increase profits, reduce waste, and build a stronger agribusiness. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share to someone that you know that will be interested in such discussions about agriculture and agri business. And in the comment section, let me know which part of agricultural value chain interests you the most. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.